I tried every buffed and nerfed weapon, so here are the top meta loadouts that you should be using after the Season 5 Reloaded update. And just a friendly reminder, just because a weapon got nerfed doesn't mean that it's no longer meta or good, and just because a weapon got buffed doesn't automatically mean that it's now meta. Sadly, there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to this topic. Starting off with the SMGs, we have 6 meta options after this update, which is considered a breath of fresh air, especially if you got tired of using the C9 over and over again. Just keep in mind, whatever you think the top 1 SMG is going to be different, and I'll explain what to pick based off your playstyle. Starting off with the LC10, although it did get nerfed in the last season, it's still kind of viable, but this is the only SMG that I would rank as the worst one in terms of meta. Just keep in mind, it's the worst one from the meta list. It's still really good. This is the 5 attachment build, and this is the 8 attachment build. Next up, we have the SOG with the 5 attachment build, and this is the 8 attachment build. Just keep in mind that the SOG has the highest amount of horizontal recoil out of most of the SMGs. So if you feel like it's a little bit too much for you, although it shouldn't with an 8 attachment build, go for the compensator instead of the ported compensator. After that, we have the Ladra, which definitely deserves a bit more love. Personally, I like using it with the 8 attachment build more than the 5. Next up, we have the C9, which technically got nerfed, but the nerf is non-existent. The first one is its damage at range got reduced by 1 point of damage after 14 meters, and you shouldn't be using an SMG at that range most of the times, and a 15 millisecond increase to its ADS speed. And this is my 8 attachment build. Next up, we have the Jackal. I used this SMG right before this update came out, and it was better than the C9. Its headshot damage was way better. It had kind of a little bit extra recoil, but if you slap on a compensator instead of the infiltrator stock, you're set to go. And it had a better time to kill and great mobility. But after the update, its sprint to fire and ADS speed got buffed, plus it has a better damage at range now. And if people were arguing if it was better than the C9 before the update, now there is no debate. This is 10 times better than the C9, especially when you're prone to hit a little bit of a few headshots when you're in a close range fight. Next up, we have the Compact, the SMG that I always wanted to say it's meta, but it always had a little bit of a drawback. But now it finally got a buff to its ADS speed, its sprint to fire speed, so it's no longer feeling slow, plus a little bit of more damage at range. Now, the only problem with this SMG is if you're using iron sights, it's gonna blind you, and then you have to use a suppressor or a monolithic suppressor, which is a bad idea. So this is the build that I currently use with an optic. If you don't like using an optic, what you can do as well is switch it to an integrated suppressor barrel and then slap on the recoil springs. It is much easier to control in this case, but I don't like the other sides, especially on mouse and keyboard. So if you're on controller, you might like this more. Now, when it comes to 8 attachments, this SMG is flawless. It's the best one out there. Now, for the top 3 out of all these SMGs, it's the C9, the Jackal, and the Compact. Now, which one to choose depends on your playstyle. If you want the fastest time to kill and you're always pushing and you're up close and personal with your enemy, go for the Compact. No SMG is gonna beat it. Just keep in mind the Compact's bullets will disappear really quickly. But if you want the best of both worlds, then you should go with the Jackal, especially if you're landing 1 or 2 headshots in every close range fight. And now for the ARs, there's just one small problem that people are not talking about. Everybody's saying that the ABR was meta or is still meta. Yes, the burst is nice, but that only works versus people that are standing still or are completely exposed. If somebody's behind a head glitch, that burst is not gonna help you. You're gonna miss a few shots. If somebody's moving, it's not gonna help you as well. Or you're trying to track somebody in the sky, that's also not gonna work. Now the ABR got nerfed, but it's still kind of good. The nerf wasn't that huge. So if you're a fan of it, mostly a controller player, go ahead and use it in burst. But if you really want to use it, I like this loadout the most, but even then, there are weapons that are 10 times better. And this is the 8 attachment version of it. The AMAX was already good, but to feel it was kind of competing, I had to use an 8 attachment version and use the long or reinforced barrel. Otherwise, it felt like it was falling a bit short after 40 or 50 meters. The Cypher got a huge nerf because its damage at the furthest range possible got nerfed, and this is a weapon that you want to use at long range, so it's still kind of viable if you want to use it on Rebirth, but you'll definitely not see it when it comes to ranked or Battle Royale on Verdansk. Now, this AR didn't get a buff or a nerf, but it was great to use since last season, and now, with the Cypher being nerfed, it's taking more of the spotlight. The aim's 85, with this 5 attachment build will be more than enough for even ranked. And once you go for the 8 attachments, replace the compensator with a monolithic suppressor and then add the recoil springs, Now you have a beautiful damage at range, you have great bullet velocity and almost no recoil. Personally, I hate the Kilo, but after this buff, it's actually the best AR, whether you're playing Rebirth or you're playing Verdansk. And it has minimal or no recoil to the point where I'm only using the vertical foregrip to control it. It feels like even better than the Krig C in its prime. And that will allow you to use the monolithic suppressor. You're not gonna get shown on the minimap, you have more damage at range, and you have bullet velocity. As for the 8 attachment build, it's definitely the best long range weapon and nothing competes with it. Nothing. That was it for today. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub, and I'll see you guys in the next video.